everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Sharon and this is a channel that is dedicated to all things related to narcissism. I make videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on all types of topics related to narcissism. So if you haven't already, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos. I would really appreciate it if you gave the video a thumbs up. It's a free way you can help me out, and definitely don't forget to leave a comment because I like to read what you have to say. Today's video is going to be about depression. That horrible, heavy, soul-saturating weight that descends like a giant weighted blanket that you can feel with every single breath you take. The type of depression that creeps into your brain and your heart and pushes you into a corner until you feel helpless and hopeless and miserable from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. That's the type of depression I'm going to talk about today. That's how I felt yesterday, and I knew I wasn't alone in feeling that way. There are few things as vital to your happiness in life as who you marry. And for so many of us, we've married the wrong person. For example, you marry a narcissist, depression, shame, anxiety, and more will be frequent companions. In today's video, I'm going to talk a little bit about that and then offer the solution that has helped me. For those of us who have dealt with or are dealing with a narcissist or other toxic person, depression probably feels like a familiar companion, and I absolutely understand that for many people it's a real mental health condition that is not going to necessarily respond to what has worked for me. So if that is you, please do not hesitate to go to your doctor and take the appropriate measures. Battling depression, getting yourself in a good frame of mind is absolutely vital. You don't have to live in misery. So please take whatever steps you need to. What I'm going to discuss has been a benefit to me, and I really hope that it helps somebody. Depression, by definition, is a feeling of sadness that negatively affects how you feel, the way you think, and how you act. It affects every area of your life. It can last for a brief time, or it can linger for what seems like forever and completely overwhelm your life. Life is very difficult when you're with a narcissist. I mean, talk about an understatement, right? I'm sure this would be familiar to many of you. When I was with my ex, I would regularly, every day, feel grief, loss, anger, fear, anxiety, and shame. I was afraid of his moods. I literally lived in fear of my ex's moods, and it would be particularly bad when he would almost be home from work. I'd begin to feel fear. So it would be like 4:30. I would start to panic. I'd be sweating. I'd feel fear and dread. I'd become really snappy with the kids. It was absolutely horrible. Today, I painfully and regrettably look back and wonder what the heck was wrong with me. Now, granted, I was justifiably miserable. He is not a good person. He treated me horrible. He treated the kids horribly. He was abusive. He was cruel in every single way. There was zero regard for me, zero regard for the kids. However, at some point, I recognized I don't like him. I certainly don't love him. How could I? If you're in a relationship with somebody who's abusive to you, who you are literally afraid of, you have fear when this person is going to come home. You don't enjoy moments with this person because they're always abusive to you. You can't trust them. You never know what they're going to do next. How can you possibly love them? It's not possible. Even if at some point in the relationship you believe that you are head over heels, that would dissipate by time it gets to the point where you are literally sweating because the person's about to come home. However, I stayed with him. So today I look back with deep, deep regret. So when I discuss depression, I can't leave out or disregard that I stayed with somebody who was cruel, somebody who was entitled, rude, dismissive to the kids, somebody who gave me silent treatments on a regular basis, somebody who treated me like I was really their slave. Of course I was depressed. How could I not be? How would it be possible to not be depressed if that's the situation that you're living in? Now, please everybody have a little bit of pity for Joe because he did not cause my depression, not even close, but he was the one that got me thinking in a way that had me go right down a rabbit hole and I started getting depressed. Because he asked me, he said to me, Sharon, how is it possible? Because we were talking about silent treatments. He knows how I feel about a silent treatment. For those of you that don't know, silent treatment is my Achilles heel. That absolutely devastated me in a way unlike any other form of abuse. I don't know why, just for some reason. It could be like my love language is communication, so maybe it's that, and he just totally blocked that for me. He would devastate me. It was so bad. And my ex has physically abused me, but that was nothing compared to what happened to me when I was given the silent treatment. So Joe said to me, Sharon, if you don't love this person, if you had literal disdain for this man, why was it that when he would give you a silent treatment, you would be so devastated? You shouldn't have cared. You should have just been like, whatever, and enjoyed the time, the freedom. And I thought to myself, yeah, why was that? Why did that happen? I mean, it was a horrible thought, just the utter disbelief. What the heck had happened? Now, as I thought about it, I started going down this rabbit hole, and it was just horrible. So I had this this overnight period of being really depressed while I was thinking about it. But the answer, of course, is trauma bond. When you are in a relationship with a toxic person, you develop what's called a trauma bond. So a trauma bond is kind of like an addiction to the person. So you're with a narcissist. You literally have a chemical addiction to this person. You crave the dopamine when they relieve you from their abuse. So if you think about a literal drug addict, right? Like if they don't get their drug, they're going to go through withdrawal. They're going to feel miserable. They're going to fantasize heavily about having their drug because they know once they get the drug, relief is going to flood their brain. They're going to feel the way they want to feel. Well, that's how it is when you're with a narcissist or other toxic individual. They abuse you. They treat you horribly. So here you are, you're in the equivalent to the withdrawal stage. You're going through withdrawal from this narcissist. Then they come home. So here I am, picture me, I'm dreading my ex coming home. I'm snapping at the kids. I'm in literal fear. I'm terrified. Oh no, there's a mess in the corner. Oh, why did the kids have to do that? Kids, pick that up right now. Oh no, there's dishes in the sink. Oh, I better quickly wash these. I'm so afraid. It was a pathetic existence. But say he comes home and he's in a really good mood. That dopamine comes rushing into my brain, and the relief I feel is like a drug addict getting their high. That's the trauma bond. I was living for those moments. We're all living for those moments. That's what the trauma bond is. We keep wanting this person to be the way they used to, the way we believe they really are, the way they were at the beginning of the relationship. The truth, though, is that the way they were at the beginning of the relationship was not real. They were acting. They were tricking you. They wanted you to do things for them. They wanted to spend the rest of their life abusing you, but they couldn't just walk up to you and say, hey, baby, I'm going to abuse you for the rest of your life. Come on, get in my car. It just wouldn't work that way. They have to lay it on thick. Then they can take it away, and now you're addicted. Like, imagine if you were really a drug addict. Like, let's pretend I'm a drug addict, and you want to control me in some way. You could take all my drugs away, and then make me miserable. I can't even function because I'm so depressed and so miserable. I need my drugs. But if you're the person that can give me my drugs, I love you. I need you to be with me. I need you to come give me my drugs. So you give me my drugs. Oh, yay, I have my drugs. That's what it's like. They're controlling you in that way. It is absolutely disgusting. And make no mistake about it. Now, a narcissist might not literally know the term trauma bond, but they know what they are doing. They are manipulating you at every turn. So this is why my ex could treat me so horribly, and I would stay around for more. I was addicted. Now, to get away from the trauma bond is what we're going to talk about in a minute, but to avoid the trauma bond would be a better thing to do. To avoid the trauma bond, and I can make another video about this for the scope of this video, I'm just going to be brief. Read red flags. If you're in a relationship with anybody, make sure you are aware of red flags and don't ignore them. That's how you can avoid a trauma bond. That's how you can avoid a toxic person. Once you're already in the relationship, it's completely different. You can't avoid them. You're with them already. But what you can do is start recognizing that you are in a trauma bond, and then take the steps necessary to extricate yourself. Now, for so many of us, for almost all of us, what we end up doing is we hope against hope. We pray, we desire, we want more than anything for a narcissist to change. If only they would change. If they could only be that elusive 1%, the 1% of narcissists who change and become the person you always dream they could be. Now, first off, I just want to say I have serious doubts that there is really such a thing as the 1%. However, let's just say that there is. This is what would have to happen for the narcissist to be that 1%. They would have to completely change, because the person that you think they are, the person that all of us at one point believe, I know this person, the person they were at the beginning of the relationship is the real person. The person that they are now, that's not the real person. I need to work harder. I need to be better. I need to make this person happier. I need to do more. Then they'll be happy and I'll have the life that I want. The whole thing is messed up. You have it right in the sense that your actions can make you happier, but your actions to make another person change are not the solution. It doesn't happen. Think about for you to change, right? If you had to change, could you do it? Let's pretend that you and I agree that you're going to change. So you're going to change and you're going to do what I say you're going to do, because we're in a relationship. Just like I'm with a narcissist. I want the narcissist to become who they used to be. I want them to listen to me and be the person that I dream of them being. So here we are, we're in this relationship. And then I tell you, all right, this is what you're going to do. This is how you have to make me happy. So remember, this is the narcissist. We're going the opposite way because you're not a narcissist. But this would be the equivalent of the narcissist. Think of the things they do compared to what they'd have to do. So here you are, a non-narcissist, and I'm trying to make you into a narcissist. Let's just think. This would be so distasteful for you, but this is exactly how it is for the narcissist. Okay, day one, you're going to change. You're going to become the 1% for me. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to start ignoring me. No, I know, just ignore me. Treat me horribly. I want you to, could you just throw some, when you're not ignoring me, be vile and rude to me too, all right? And then can you snap at the kids, please? I know they haven't done anything wrong, but just do it. All right, now what you're going to do is you're going to get drunk. You're going to get drunk and you're going to get in the car with your kids and you're going to take them somewhere. No, I don't want, it doesn't matter if you don't want to. You're changing. Now get in the car with your kids. I know you're drunk, but do it. You're changing. This is what you said you wanted to do. You're trying to make me happy, so please do this, right? And then not only that, here you go. Here's some credit cards. Here's our credit cards. I know we worked so hard to get our debt down. We don't have any debt now because we worked so hard. But what you're going to, I work so hard. What you're going to do is charge them back up. Don't tell me. It's a surprise. Don't tell me. Just charge it back up. And maybe eventually you'll have to declare bankruptcy and ruin our credit. Do it. You're going to make me happy. You're going to be that 1%. I mean, think about how ridiculous that is. That is what you're asking the person to do. It's just the opposite. They don't want to be good. You don't want to be bad. They don't want to be good. This can never work. And let's just pretend that this person did change. They suddenly, I don't know, they were struck by lightning and now they want to be a good person. They really want to be a good person. Is that okay? Is that good enough for you? Is that what you deserve? Think about if it was your child. Would you feel okay about that? I would not. I have a 17-year-old daughter. If she was with some guy who abused her, treated her absolutely abysmally, horrible in every way, she was in tears, she was crying, she was near suicide, she was so depressed, and suddenly it's okay, that can all be wiped away because now he wants to be a good person. Think about what you deserve. You don't deserve that. I mean, I can answer this for you right now. You don't deserve that. You can do better. I always believe that in a relationship, you deserve what you have to give. If you are not treating somebody horribly, if you're not an abusive jerk, you should never be with an abusive jerk. You don't believe it. So the answer to ending your depression is ending the relationship. That's the truth. That's the reality. Somebody else changing isn't going to work. What will get you out of your depression is ending the relationship. And I know a lot of you don't want to hear that because you want to stay in the relationship, have them change, or stay in the relationship and learn to manage it better. Because maybe if you're better, they wouldn't be so mad all the time. You cannot be in the situation with the problem. The problem, the cause of your depression, is the narcissist. So to have them still in the relationship, still in your life, still living with them, still abusing you, you can't get out of it. You could maybe throw a few band-aids on and feel a little bit better sometimes, but you're never going to be the person you want to be. You're never going to live the life that you want to be if you stay with this person. Now, full disclosure, it doesn't mean that once you end the relationship, everything's going to be better immediately, right away. But it's the beginning. For me, part of the reason that you don't feel immediately better is because these relationships end rather poorly. This is how my relationship ended. So one night, a lot of you know the story, my ex tried to get me arrested. He filed a false police report and said I was abusing him. So the scene at my house is I had police officers swarming around. My ex had filed a false police report that nobody believed. So that by law, they had to take the police report down, but they didn't believe him, so they kicked him out of the house. So here I am at my house with my kids. Everybody's watching this, and my ex has a police officer on each arm pulling him out of the house. The whole time, he's kicking, he's making it difficult for them. They're pulling him out. He's screaming and yelling, life isn't fair. Why are you doing this? She's flirting with you. She's doing this. She's doing that. She's a liar. She stole my mail. Blah, blah, blah. She's taking my medicine. Look at my phone. Look at my phone. Look at my email. I have emails. I have pictures of every single piece of mail that comes to this house. Where is it? I didn't get this mail. Where's my mail? Sharon, where's my mail? This was what I was hearing. It was horrifying. Then on top of that, he stole my phone. So the police had to take my phone from him. He didn't want to give me my phone. It was horrible. So he's finally out of the house. This was my first night of freedom. As soon as he was out of that house, I collapsed. I couldn't control my emotions anymore. I was on my knees, hyperventilating. I've never hyperventilated before. I was hyperventilating. I had a cop kneeling beside me, rubbing my back, telling me it was going to be okay. It's going to be okay. But it was that night, that very night, that it began. The truth is, if you are in a relationship with a narcissist, you will feel depressed because there's no relationship, but your mind and body craves and needs that. Freedom from depression begins with leaving the narcissist. Then you can begin to extricate yourself from the grips of the depression that they have given you. I have learned that your attitude really sets the tone for your life. Now, I still have the final battle ahead of me. I still have the divorce. And as you know, my ex is not a nice person. I still have that to go. But I have learned over this time period, as I've improved, as I've gotten better, basically, I've taught myself to be happy. So when you hear me on my videos and I sound cheerful, it's real. It's real. I used to have this Boston accent. I use this as an example a lot. I used to have this Boston accent, and I didn't like it. So you can tell me as you listen to me, do I sound like I have a Boston accent? I learned, I didn't go to somebody, I did this myself. So this is things you can do yourself. Over time, I got rid of it. I practiced every single day, all the time. And at first it was difficult because at first when I did this, I always had to think ahead. I couldn't have spontaneous conversation. And even now, I sometimes slip up to my kids' extreme delight, but typically I'm able to speak without any trace of an accent. The same can happen for you when it comes to your depression. This is what I said at the beginning of the video, though. For some people, you're going to need more help, and that's fine. If you want to go to therapy, if you need to go to therapy, please do that. I'm just telling you what works for me, what has worked for me. I have grit, determination has worked for me, essentially. I've practiced this every day because I feel better when I'm in a good mood. So it's to the point now where people who see me are surprised that if I'm not in a good mood. I'm grateful all the time. I think of my blessings. I know what it is to be free, and I think of that, and that keeps me cheery. So I'm able to have a happy face. Even sometimes I don't feel good. If I force it on myself, it ends up saturating into my soul, and I am happy. I'm generally a happy person. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for my kids. I'm grateful for my animals. I'm especially grateful for Joe. You know, Joe and I, we do our videos every Monday. We're going to have to tell you our story because we have a real miracle story of our relationship getting together. And I'm grateful for him. I'm grateful for all the positive things that I have in my life. I have learned that what you focus on will be what you live every day. So picture yourself like an Olympic athlete. You have to persevere to get the prize. Real freedom, real joy. I still get scared, but I don't focus on it. I can't afford to. I have a dream I'm chasing. So you can train your mind just like you can train your body. You know, last year, my daughter dissected this owl pellet. I don't know if you know what that is. This is kind of gross, but when an owl eats a mouse, it ends up, it kind of like, it throws it up. It throws the mouse up into this, what's called like a pellet. So it's like, it looks almost like feces. It's not, it's vomit. And it's like this compact, hard pellet, and it has fur and bones and all types of stuff in it. And so she dissected it for science last year. So inside it was all these mixed up and broken bones and pieces all, smushed in together in this little packet. What she did was, though, she picked it apart very slowly with dedication and determination. She took all the bones out of it, and then she put them all back together in the shape of this mouse. The last picture in the video is what she did. What has happened to you? You've been chewed up, spit out, you're thrown onto the ground like you're nothing, like you don't matter. But with determination, with grit and determination, you can accomplish anything that you want in life. You can be put back together. You can be put back together a whole person, better than you were before. For me, I began this battle as a scared, small, skinny woman battling a demon 3 times my size. Dietrich Bonhoeffer described me perfectly. This poem is not about narcissistic abuse, but it could be. This was me. This can be all of us. This can be what we can start from, but what we can accomplish afterwards could be whatever we want. So this is him. He was sitting in a jail cell. So he was in a real locked jail cell in Nazi Germany. I'm restless and longing and sick like a bird in a cage, struggling for breath as though hands were compressing my throat, yearning for colors, for flowers, for the voices of birds, thirsting for words of kindness, for neighborliness, tossing in expectations of great events, powerlessly trembling for friends at an infinite distance, weary and empty at praying, at thinking, at making, faint and ready to say farewell to it all. For Bonhoeffer, the cell door never unlocked. Yours is open. No one else can rescue you. You must. Don't let fear keep you in chains. For a long time, I prayed that my ex would die. That was my solution. God didn't answer that prayer the way I wanted because inside me was everything that I needed. I had to rescue myself. It's the same with you. It's the same as all of us. It might take time, but please begin today. You are the solution, and inside of yourself is everything you need to have the life you want and to beat this depression. Thank you so much for watching this video. I am very grateful for everybody who watches my channel. Please, everybody, have a wonderful day. Know that I'm praying for you. God bless, and I will see you in Friday's video. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.